Good morning, dear students. We see Standard 9th Science, Unit 7, Heat. All substances in our surrounding are made up of molecules. These molecules are generally at motion and possess kinetic energy. At the same time, each molecule exerts a force of attraction on other molecule and so they possess potential energy. The sum of kinetic potential energy is called internal energy of molecules. This internal energy when flows out is called heat energy. This energy is more in hot substances and less in cold substances and flow from hot substances to cold substances. We see the effects of heat. Expansion. When heat is added to a substance, the molecules gain energy and vibrate and force other molecules apart. As a result, expansion take place. You would have seen some space being left in railway tracks. It is because during summertime, more heat causes expansion in tracks. Expansion is greater for liquids than solids and it is maximum in gases. Let us see the change in state. When you heat ice cubes, they become water and water on further heating changes into vapor. So solid becomes liquid and liquids become gas when heat is added. The reverse take place when heat is removed. Now we see the change in temperature. When heat energy is added to a substance, the kinetic energy of its particles increases and so the particles move at higher speed. This causes rise in temperature. When a substance is cool, that is when heat is removed. The molecules lose heat and its temperature falls. And the last effect is chemical changes. Since heat is a form of energy, it plays a major role in chemical changes. In some cases, chemical reactions need heat to begin, and also heat determines the speed at which reactions occur. When we cook food, we light the food and it catches fire and the food particles become soft because of the heat energy. These are all chemical changes taking place due to heat. We see the activity. Take a glass of water and put some ice cubes on it. Observe it for some time. What happens? The ice cubes melt and disappear. Why did it happen? It is because heat energy in water is transferred to the ice. Heat does not stay where we put it. Hot things get colder and cold things get hotter. Heat is transferred from one place to another till the temperature becomes equal. Heat transfers take place when heat energy flows from an object with higher temperature to an object with lower temperature. Do you know when a dog keeps out its tongue and breathes hard, the moisture on the tongue turns into water and it evaporates. Since heat energy is needed to turn a liquid into gas, heat is removed from dog's tongue. This helps to cool the body of dog. Now we see the conduction. In solids, molecules are closely arranged so that they cannot move freely. When one end of the solid is heated, molecules at the end absorb heat energy and vibrate fast at their own positions. These molecules in turn collide with the neighboring molecules and make them vibrate faster, and so energy is transferred. This process continues till all the molecules receive the heat energy. The process of transfer of heat in solids from a region of higher temperature to a region of low temperature without the actual movement of molecules is called conduction. Now we see the conduction in daily life. Metals are good conductors of heat. So aluminum is used for making utensils to cook food quickly. Mercury is used in thermometers because it is a good conductor of heat. We wear woolen clothes in winter to keep ourselves warm. Air, which is a bad conductor, does not allow our body heat to escape. We see the convection. For example, drop a few crystals of potassium permanganate down to the bottom of a beaker containing water. When the beaker is heated just below the crystals by a small flame, purple streaks of water rise upwards and fan onwards. In this activity, water molecules at the bottom of the beaker receive heat energy and move upward and replace the molecules at the top. Same thing happens in air also. When air is heated, the air molecules gain heat energy, allowing them to move further apart. Warm air, being less dense than cold air, will rise. Cooler air moves downward to replace the air that has risen. The heat rises and is again replaced by cooler air, creating a circular flow. Convection is the flow of heat through a fluid from places of higher temperature to places of lower temperature by movement of fluid itself. Now you see the convection in daily life. Hot air balloons. Air molecules at the bottom of the balloon get heated by a heat source and rise. As the warm air rises, cold air is pushed downward and it is also heated when the hot air is trapped inside the balloon. Now we see the radiation. Radiation is a method of heat transfer that does not require particles to carry the heat energy. In this method, heat is transferred in the form of waves from hot objects in all directions. Thus, radiation is the flow of heat from one place to another by means of electromagnetic waves. Transfer of heat energy from the sun reaches us in the form of radiation. Radiation is emitted by all bodies above 0 Kelvin. Some objects absorb radiation and some other objects reflect them. We see the radiation in daily life. White or light colored cloths are good reflectors of heat. They keep us cool during summer. Base on cooking utensils is blackened because black surface absorb more heat from the surrounding. Surface of airplane is highly polished because it helps to reflect most of the heat radiation from the sun. We see the concept of temperature. Temperature is the degree of hotness or coolness of a body. Hotter the body, higher is its temperature. Now we see the unit of temperature. The SI unit of temperature is Kelvin, that is capital K. For day-to-day application, Celsius is also used. Temperature is measured with a thermometer also. Now, there are three scales are used to measure temperature: Fahrenheit scale, Celsius or centigrade scale, Kelvin or absolute scale. Now the first one is Fahrenheit scale. In Fahrenheit scale, 32 degree Fahrenheit and 212 degree Fahrenheit are the freezing point and boiling point respectively. Interval has been divided into 180 parts. The second one is a Celsius temperature scale. In Celsius scale, also called centigrade scale. 0 degrees Celsius and 100 degrees Celsius of the freezing point and boiling point respectively. The formula to convert the Celsius scale to Fahrenheit scale is F equal to 9 by 5 Celsius plus 32. The formula for converting the Fahrenheit scale into Celsius scale is C equal to 5 by 9. And the last scale is Kelvin scale. Kelvin scale is also known as absolute scale. On the Kelvin scale, 0 Kelvin represents absolute zero, the temperature at which the molecules of a substance have the lowest possible energy. The solid, liquid, gaseous phase of water can consist in equilibrium at 273.16 Kelvin. Kelvin is defined as 1 by 273.16 of the triple point temperature. Formula for converting a Celsius scale to Kelvin scale is K equal to C plus 273.15. Now we see the absolute zero, the temperature at which the pressure and the volume of gas theoretically reaches zero, that is called as absolute zero. For all gases, the pressure extrapolates to zero at the temperature minus 273.15 degrees Celsius. It is known as absolute zero or 0 Kelvin. Now we see the specific heat capacity. In general, the amount of heat energy absorbed or lost by a body is determined by three factors: mass of the body, change in temperature of the body, nature of material of the body. We can understand this by the following observation. Now the first observation, quantity of heat required to rise the temperature of 1 liter of water will be more than the heat required to rise the temperature of 500 ml of water. If Q is the quantity of heat absorbed and M is the mass of the body, then Q proportional M. In the second observation, quantity of heat energy required to raise the temperature of 250 ml of water to 100 degrees Celsius is more than the heat energy required to raise the temperature to 50 degrees Celsius. Here Q proportional delta T, where delta T is the change in temperature of the body. Thus heat lost or gained by the substance when its temperature changes by delta T is Q proportional M delta T, Q equal to MC delta T. From these equations, the absolute temperature and the energy of the system are proportional to each other. The proportionality constant is the specific heat capacity of the substance. Therefore, C equal to Q divided by M delta T. Thus, the specific heat capacity of a substance is defined as the amount of heat required to rise the temperature of 1 kilogram of substance by 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin. The SI unit of specific heat capacity is joule per kilogram per Kelvin. The most commonly used units of specific heat capacity are joule per kilogram degree Celsius and joule per gram degree Celsius. Now we see the change of state. The process of changing of a substance from one physical state to another at a definite temperature is known as change of state. For example, water molecules are in liquid state at normal temperature. When water is heated to 100 degrees Celsius, it becomes steam, which is a gaseous state of matter. And reducing the temperature of the steam, it becomes water again. If we reduce the temperature further to 0 degrees Celsius, it becomes ice, which is a solid state of water. Ice on heating becomes water again. Thus, water changes its state when there is a change in temperature. There are different such processes in change of state in matter. We see the latent heat. The word latent means hidden. So latent heat means hidden heat or hidden energy. In this activity, temperature is constant at 0 degrees Celsius until entire ice is converted into liquid and again constant at 100 degrees Celsius until all the ice is converted into vapor. Why? It is because when a substance changes from one state to another, a considerable amount of heat energy is absorbed or liberated. This energy is called latent energy. This latent heat is the amount of heat energy absorbed or released by a substance during a change in its physical state without any change in its temperature. Heat energy is absorbed by the solid during melting, and an equal amount of heat energy is liberated by the liquid during freezing without any temperature change. It is called latent heat or fusion. In the same manner, heat energy is absorbed by a liquid during vaporization, and an equal amount of heat energy is liberated by the vapor during condensation without any temperature changes. This is called latent heat of vaporization. Now we see the specific latent heat. Latent heat, when expressed per unit mass of the substance, is called specific latent heat. It is denoted as a symbol L. If Q is the amount of heat energy absorbed or liberated by M mass of the substance during its change of phase at a constant temperature, then specific latent heat is L equal to Q by M. The specific latent heat is the amount of heat absorbed or liberated by unit mass of a substance during change of state without causing any change in temperature. The SI unit of specific latent heat is joule per kilogram. Thank you, students.